Well, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record actually next week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. Doing a little time shifting here once again. Haven't had to do that for a couple of weeks. Just checking to see what last week's 10 5, 10 5, 10. There we go. Boom. No, that's not it. 10 10 show rundown. Now, when you ask me, I will be able to tell you. Davina, good morning. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic on a rainy Wednesday morning here in my part of the world. How is it in your neck of the woods? Hey, Johnny, good morning, buddy. How are you? Look forward to seeing you next week. I'm going to bring you down 2 arrows. So you've got 3 then. You only need 1. That's what you said, right? Good morning, Brent. How are you on this rainy morning in the middle of the week? Patrick, good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic. Hello, Spencer. Spencer is on the radio show this weekend, and he is going to tell a story that I am so very, very impressed with. Successful Michigan black bear hunt, no guides, no bait, no hounds. And he actually called a bear in on the last day of a 16-day hunt using a rabbit in distress call. This guy is hardcore. Good morning, Craig. How are you, buddy? Yeah. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Jason. How are you doing? Great news at Trinity there, eh, Jason? Man, we waited a long time for that. I was actually out shooting my darting. Where'd you go, Johnny? I was out shooting my darting last night. Corey, good morning. How are you? John Cedar of Brenton USA, BrentonUSA.com. Skeeter Beckman from Brenton will be on the radio show next week. Getting ready for a hunting trip. Excellent. Did not get a bear, Jim. But here's who you can blame, and he's on right now. You can blame Johnny Bowler. Hey, Sherry, how are things in Poseyville? Johnny knows I'm kidding. Listen, I've been hunting long enough. There he is right now, Skeeter. Hey, Skeeter, just a heads up, too. This show that you and I are going to record here in a few minutes is actually for the 22nd. So keep that in mind. And the reason I've got you on then is it's kind of just before the firearm season, right? It would give people a chance to still go out and get a gun. But so it's not, Skeeter, it's not for this weekend. The 15th is for next weekend. Russell was successful bear hunting in Newberry with guide Perry Haynes. Hey, Tim, how you doing? How are things in your piece of heaven there? Beautiful spot. Happy for you and Jen. Anyway, my name is Mike Avery. This is another edition of Behind the Mic. I'm here behind 2 mics, my social media mic and my official broadcast mic. Corey heading down to 30 minutes to Camp Liberty by Brooklyn to hunt Independence Hunt Thursday through Sunday. Excellent, Corey. Have a good hunt. I'm heading downstate Sunday, actually heading to Ohio to hunt with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. Not using my Brenton on this trip, using my dart and crossbow on this trip. Hey, Lee, good morning. How are you? Maybe all the rain bring the steelhead in. Yes. All right, Jason, have fun at work. Jason, a fellow Trinity brother. Yeah, we're pretty happy at Trinity, my church. Trinity Monitor Lutheran Church. We have a new pastor. 3 years we've been looking for a pastor. Pastor Seth Kaiser out of Iowa. Guy likes to hunt. He likes to fish. He's got a young family, and we are so excited. Davina, going to try hunting this weekend too. Good morning, David. David, where you go? David. I was waiting for somebody to ask. Kevin says, good morning. Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. There. Got that out of our system. There we go, Jerry. We all know now, right? Got it out of my system. You got it out of your system. We can move on with our day. The folks here at WSGW, where I record my show, think that I'm an idiot. And a lot of times I actually am. Let me tell you who's coming up on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this weekend. Now, this show has already been recorded. Spencer Clock, I was telling you about. He's the guy who did the self-guided Michigan bear hunt. He's got quite a story. It's really very cool story. Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. Then Tom Lounsbury talks about pheasant hunting in Michigan. Pheasant season opens a week from tomorrow here in Michigan. Adam Bump from the DNR. Then Captain Pete Patsalis of Hook One Charters in Marine City out in the St. Clair River. He said the fall fishing is just getting ready to kick off. And, of course, wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. That show is already in the can, and I'm here to record next week's show. Good morning, Lost Glove Farms. Rainy, windy day, north part of the lower. Perch fishing has been super hot. We have available seats for our second boat, so anyone interested, get up here before the Grillos catch them all. Robert Hines, help me out, Bob. I can see the name of your charter company, but I can't place it. Help me out, Bob. Bob comes very, very highly recommended by the Grillo family, and these guys are hardcore outdoorsmen. In fact, Nick is in Maryland deer hunting right now. Any predictions for the start of the rut? No, Lauren, none. Thank you, Bob. Central Coast Angling. That whole start of the rut thing, to be honest, you'd have to be a lot more of a hardcore deer hunter than I am. I am a casual deer hunter. Casual. Is it really, Cliff? Thank you for that. I wasn't aware that Saturday is Sweetest Day. Thank you. I'm making myself a note right now because I'm leaving the next day to go hunting for a week. So, yeah, I need to say Sweetest Day. Thank you. Hey, Ross. Dinner at Oscar and Joy's tomorrow night. This is dinner at One at the Banquet. Excellent. Have fun. Lee's getting his fill of seafood. See, down here, a Michigan Outdoor Obsession, the corn has come down. Always glad to see the corn come down. Good morning, Josh. How are you? Congrats on that big opening day dough. Belated happy birthday to you. Speaking of that Trinity dinner where Ross, he didn't win it, right? He paid for it. He was a high bidder for Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. He got that at our Trinity Monitor wild game dinner, which this year is Saturday, March 4th or 5th. I've been saying the 5th, but I think it's the 4th of 23. There we go. And it'll be at the Great Hall in Midland. Good question, John. We're going down there bow hunting only, because it's Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. I do not know if I could during their shotgun season if I could use my Brenton 350 Legend or not. That's a very good question. I don't know. Speaking of questions, though, John, you asked a question about fall turkeys. We answered that question on this weekend's show as part of the Ask Avery segment. Good morning, Carl. Corey says, yes, John, you can. Corey says, yes, John, you can. I'd love to go back down to Ohio with my Brenton 350 and give that a try. Got another doe up north. Thank you. Guys from Bow Hunter Chronicles podcast. Excellent. Good morning, Dave. How you been? Haven't talked to you for a while. Mike, same thing, buddy. Good to see you. Well, good to talk to you. I haven't seen you in a while. I look forward to it. It is, John, almost. We will start our Michigan brand ham for the holidays right after Halloween. We'll start it right after Halloween. We'll give away a Michigan brand ham. Corey says he bought his 450 Bushmaster for that reason. Okay, excellent to know. That's good to know. That is good to know. So far, the only thing that's dropped because of that Brenton 350 Legend is my grandson Carter's doe during the youth hunt. I wasn't able to use it on a Michigan bear. Now I'm looking forward to using it on a Michigan whitetail. Good morning, Billy. Donnie Mae, how have you been, dear? Yes, that will be, it's the last segment in the second hour, John. Chewed him, Craig. Chewed him. Right back to you, Tim. Long ashes to you. I was shooting. I was smoking not a Fat Bottom Betty. It's one of their clones. I got to take a picture of the wrapper here. I can tell you. Here it is, right here. It is a sweet Alice, sweet baby Alice, sweet Alice. It's a sweet. It wasn't one of my usual, so I took a video of the label. Sweet Jane. I thought it was a sweet baby Jane. No, it's just a sweet Jane. Oh, it's not open in that. Sweet Jane. Yes, Tim, exactly. Hey, good morning, Lure Lipstick. How are you? Been a long time, John. Miss talking to you. You're a great guy, man. Really great guy. Great guy. Michigan Outdoor EHD in Michigan. Has anyone else heard of this? No. Last I heard was there was not much of an EHD outbreak in the southern part of the state, if any at all. Good morning, John. How are things in the middle of the mitten? As close to the geographic center of the lower peninsula of Michigan as can be geographically determined. Mark, I look forward to seeing you next week. Mark, you made a good point. You, me, and Ed all sat for the better part of a week bear hunting and never saw a bear. We were all in separate camps, too. We never saw a bear. So that does bode well for our Ohio trip, doesn't it? Sweet Jane. Yes, it was. Sweet Jane. I enjoyed it. I really did. But, hey, good morning, Gene. Gene, I don't recognize your name. Have you been with us before? If so, I apologize for not making the connection. And if you're new here, I appreciate you joining us. I will be back tonight for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. I encourage you to join me then. According to the Ohio Hunting Regulations Guide, straight-walled cartridges are legal and cartridges with a shoulder are not legal. So our 350s and 450s are legal. Excellent. Hey, Michelle, good morning. How are you? How have you been, Michelle? I haven't seen you in person for a long time either. Craig says he's going to shoot the first deer in Ohio to kick things off. What if it's a fawn, Craig? You might want to rephrase your statement. Craig's like, I'm going to shoot the first thing. I don't care if it's a spotted fawn. I think I know what you're saying, but you might want to rephrase. Good morning, Debbie. Nice to have you along with us. Craig, I think what Craig wanted to say was, I plan on shooting the first respectable legal buck that walks by. Yeah, yeah. Let's not even talk about that, eh, Ross? Davina says, caliber minimum 357, maximum 50, included 350 Legend. Excellent. Bow hunting starting to get good, Patrick says. Yes, Craig says, yes, that is what I meant to say. I'll be honest with you, I haven't even been out hunting yet. I was hoping to get out hunting before we go to Ohio, and it just didn't work out. It's been kind of crazy around the Avery household and around work and a lot of church stuff going on right now, too. So I've had my hands full. My hands have been full. So we'll kick it off with Ohio next week, and then I'll when we get back here, I'll be in full deer hunting mode here in Michigan. Davina says she lives down there close to Ohio, so she knows. Will I have a duck master on the show? I thought I did last week, Lonnie. I had Captain Jeff Godey of the Michigan Experience, a Saginaw Bay waterfowl hunting guide, veteran guide for many, many years. So if you missed that, Lonnie, you can always listen to the podcast version of the show. He was in the first or second hour of last week's show. And I would consider him a duck master. Yes. Yes. I am woefully ignorant when it comes to waterfowl hunting. Ed, we did. We found one. Great guy, too. Excellent, Mike. You and Benson have fun. Good luck to you. Corey said he would have been mad if we would have bought a 450 and couldn't have used it, for sure. How many acres do we hunt in Ohio? Do you have your own section? I don't know how many acres Bill has. I mean, he has a bunch of farms leased. He's very good about not putting hunters on top of each other. It's a quality hunt. Thank you, Donnie Mae. Uneducated, not ignorant. How about if I am blissfully uneducated? Because listen, my hat's off and I have much respect to waterfowl hunters. It's a tough sport. It's more work than I want to put into it. I'm not tough. I'm not tough enough to be a waterfowl hunter. I'm not. I don't like getting that cold. I don't like getting that wet. I don't like working that hard. I'm a sissy. Hey, Brent, good morning. I've been thinking a lot about you guys. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Pat. Thinking a lot about you guys, Brent. Perch fishing. Oh, Davina. Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Davina. Michael, good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining us on this edition of Behind the Mic. My name is Mike Avery here behind two microphones. People ask me that all the time. They ask me that all the time. Craig, I heard from a guy yesterday, John. I don't know if he reached out to you yet. He lives in Zilwaukee. He wants to follow you down there. All right, Corey, have a good hunt. Mountainside in Utah. You win the best comment of the morning, Mark. Oh, I got you, Davina. I got you. Okay. All right, Brent, thoughts and prayers, buddy. Thank you, Davina, for pointing that out. You did talk to John. Excellent. Excellent. Hey, Craig, what time did Bill say he wants us down there? If I remember right, last year we all got down there a little bit early and we stood around twiddling our thumbs. And last year I had some bear sticks to hand around. This year, of course, I don't have any because Johnny didn't get me a bear. Johnny Bowler. It's all on after 3. Okay. Thank you, Craig.
4 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Less than.
Hey, Craig, I'd actually walleye fished with John before, too. I didn't recognize the name, but he and I had fished walleye on Saginaw Bay before, just like you and I have, and just like you and I and Ed are going to do again next year. So I will not do, I will do a Wednesday night live tonight. I will likely not do a Wednesday night live next week, but I might do a behind the mic from Bill Pyle's place in Ohio, possibly next week. Depends on how things are going. Oh, Johnny is going to hear it all year. Absolutely. And he's going to hear it all next week, too, because Johnny will be with us in Ohio. Good morning, John, president of the CMU Bass Fishing Club. Can I call you Mr. President? And I am quite sure that my endorsement is what put you over the top. You're looking pretty good in that suit the other day, too, John. Got to go to class? So what else? What else here? I am going down to Ohio. Started going back down there last year. I didn't look at it, Mark, but it's got to be better than last year, right? Anything cooler than 85 degrees is going to be better than last year. No, plus we're a week later, so that should help, right? Your son's not coming down this year, I remember. Hey, Jeff. How does one find a local person who is certified or at least trained to score antlers of various species? Ludington. Commemorative Bucks of Michigan, CBM. Go to their website, CBM, Commemorative Bucks of Michigan. Interesting, John. John says, do you guys know Ohio has an 8-point rule? High in the 40s? I better bring my long underwear. I don't know if you're just pulling our leg, John, but Bill has an 8-point rule. Bill has like a 120-ish minimum, and on some of his farms, it's a 140 minimum. But down there, it's very, I mean, I don't want to, listen, it's doable, right? It's hunting. These are critters. We're not behind a high fence. You never know. We've got a good moon phase. Mark's telling me the weather's going to be nice and cold. Yeah. Bill has 120 minimum with a 140 on some of his farms. Good morning, Joe. How are you doing, buddy? Joe knows the good news about what's going on at Trinity and Pastor Kaiser. I am not still affiliated with Solo Stove, Brian. I am not. Good product. Well, see, I was never associated with Solo Stove. I was associated with Speedy Blaze, and Speedy Blaze works with Solo Stove. But no, not anymore. Good morning, Mike. How are you? Sometimes things just don't work out. And in my experience in more than 40 years in business, if they don't work out, there's no reason to force it, because good partnerships are obvious right off the bat. Good partnerships, you know it's a good partnership, and it's going to last for a while. If you have to work real hard to make a partnership happen and to try to keep it going, it's not a good partnership. It's not a mutually beneficial partnership, and you're better off just to shake hands and move on. You know, it is what it is. All right, Ross, you have a good day, buddy. Pat, you're doing the podcast and the show?
That is correct.
All right. All right. In just a few seconds here, I'm going to switch gears from this live stream to recording this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. Now, keep in mind, this is for next week's show. So if you hear me talking about things, it's like, that doesn't make sense. And I won't be able to directly interact with you. 3, 2, 1, blast off. All right, my friends. You as well, John. John from Lure Lipstick, lurelipstick.com. There's a song about everything, Jeff. Country song. Of course, about thing about country, if you're playing backwards, you sober up and your dog comes home and your wife comes back. Oh, really? Interesting. All right. So anyway, I will not be able to directly interact with you. I will switch from this microphone to this microphone. I will be back tonight, though, at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. I hope you can join me then. In the meantime, have a good day. Enjoy the rain. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. More than 30 stations across the great state of Michigan here each week for 3 hours talking about the great outdoors, the history and tradition of hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping, a big part of our state's history, a big part of our state's heritage. For many of us, a big part of our individual family history and tradition and heritage. That's the way it was for me. But I hear every week from people who are not hunters or anglers or shooters or trappers who say they listen to the show, they enjoy the show, they appreciate the content. And that means a lot. I do appreciate that. As I'm in the studio right now, we're doing some time shifting again, probably one last time for the year. Time shifting is something we do here when I'm going to be gone for a week. So we double up on shows. As you are hearing this show, I will be just returning from a bow hunt in Ohio with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. I used to go down there and hunt with Bill when I had the TV show every year, sometimes multiple times a year. Hadn't hunted with him for 10 years or so. And he joined me on a Wednesday Night Live when we got throwing the idea around, said, hey, why don't we put together a Mike Avery Outdoors or an Outdoor Magazine outing? A bunch of people from Michigan says, yeah, I'd love to go. So we put it together, went down there last year, had a great time. Last year, we were there a week earlier, and it was really hot. I mean, it was like 85 degrees. There wasn't a lot of deer movement. I think 2 or 3 of our hunters got animals. So we're going back this year. I'm not a huge deer hunter these days, not nearly as hardcore or even excited about it as I used to be. However, I do welcome the opportunity to get together with a bunch of friends, go see some new territory, some new country down there in Ohio, and get to see my friends Bill and Joan and Neil Piles. So that part I am absolutely looking forward to. A deer is just the bonus. I've had 3 out of state. No, not. I've had 3 big hunts this year. I had the first one was my bear hunt in Ontario. Didn't get a bear. Second one was my bear hunt in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Didn't get a bear. So my last big hunt for the year will be in Ohio, bow hunting with Bill Piles for whitetails. You'd think the odds would be with me by now, right? I don't know. We'll see. I am past the point in my life where I judge the success of my hunts by shooting something. Now, this is a welcome change from when I had a TV show. When you have a TV show, there is a constant pressure to shoot something, to harvest something, at least have a close encounter. Even if it's a miss, you can still make a show out of it. But you've got to see something. And that was one part of the TV show that always dragged on me. It dragged me down. I didn't like that part. But people aren't going to tune into a show where you don't at least see big bucks or maybe bears or whatever. Now I don't have that pressure. And oh, it is glorious. And the thing about these days is I don't have to carry all that gear with me. You know, it used to be there was a camera guy with me, oftentimes my son James. So there was 2 of us in the stand. He was holding a camera on his shoulder. So you got double the scent, you got double the noise. You know, no, do you have him on camera? Do you have him on camera? No, wait. I hated that. That's not, in my mind at least, where I am in my point in my life. That's not what hunting should be. So these days I don't have to worry about it. I do have a little Tacticam on my crossbow, and I've got a phone in my pocket. And I can do everything with that phone and Tacticam that I need to do because I'm not doing a TV show. I do some video for my online stuff, but it doesn't have to be a full half hour. And about the only thing I can't do with a phone is I can't, it doesn't have a long enough lens so you can't zoom in and get a close up on an animal that's a ways off. But the tools that we have today are just phenomenal. It is so far removed from what it used to be. And it is so much more enjoyable for me than what it used to be. If, though, you are at this point in your life where you want to document these things, it's easier than ever. The tools are better. The tools are higher quality. They're much less expensive. The first camera I ever used professionally was an Ikegami HL79A. And the camera was $80,000. The first camera I ever bought when I went out on my own was $50,000. And the quality of that video was not nearly as good as the quality of the iPhone I have in my pocket right now. It's amazing. So if you want to document these things, if you want to do a YouTube channel, if you want to do a podcast, the tools, the technology, the gear are out there. They're more accessible. They're more reasonably priced than ever. All you have to do is tell a story. I always say that to people. I say, well, what's the key to being successful in the outdoor broadcasting industry? Successful is a relative term, right? I guess I have had some success just because I've been around so darn long, but I've never reached the degree of success that the big names in the outdoor industry did, the guys on the Outdoor Channel, even though I was on the Outdoor Channel for a while. Just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't my path. It wasn't the path that God had in store for me and mind for me. And fortunately, I almost said smart enough to eventually figure it out. No, it wasn't smart. That was not what helped me figure it out. But you got to tell a story. You don't need expensive gear. You don't need your own TV show. You can do it. It used to be the way to tell these stories was you would write an article and you'd get it published in the local newspaper. You'd get it in a magazine like Woods and Water News or something. And that's still a great way to do it. There are still people who do that very well, very successfully, who have made a career at it. But if you're not looking to make a career, you're just looking to reach an audience, tell a story. And how do you tell a story? There are some elements involved. You want and options, entertain, educate. Those are the two big ones in my mind. Entertain and or educate. Don't try to be fancy. Just show people what you're experiencing. Tell them what was in your mind as these things happened in front of you. It can be a lot of fun, especially if you don't have the pressure of making it your profession, especially if you don't have the pressure of getting these bucks on camera. Turkey hunting was always fun because you know where they're coming into. You can get them on camera. Bear hunting, always fun. You know I love that because I bear hunt over bait. You know they're coming into the bait. You know where they're going to be. But whitetails, holy cow. Whitetails are a different critter. Literally, altogether. You think you know where they're coming into, but they like to surprise you. So what else is going on? My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I keep threatening to update that website. We did a couple of years ago. It could stand to be tweaked, but it's just one of those things where, okay, we'll get to it. I still like the website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. From there, it's easy to get to my social media outlets. We also post a podcast up there, of course, the podcast version of the radio show. That website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Please don't hesitate to use that to reach out, to contact me with questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, questions for the Ask Avery segment. Also, if you want me to share pictures of your hunting or fishing adventures, that's a great way to do it. I used to say, hey, post them on the Facebook page and I'll share them. Well, that's not so easy anymore. The best way to do it these days, send me an email to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Attach your pictures, maybe a little video. Tell me a brief description of what's going on, because if you just say, hey, here's my deer, I'll post it, but we don't know anything about it. Hey, here's my first 8-point that I shot in northern Michigan with my bow. Perfect. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't forget, too, about Wednesday Night Live. That is something I do on my social media streams. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We do it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Still haven't figured out how to put them on. Not Instagram, LinkedIn. Still haven't figured out how to put them on Instagram yet. Coming up on this week's show after the break, Skeeter Beckman of Brenton, USA, the AR-15 style hunting rifles out of Lansing. Then Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy. In hour number 2, we're talking fall muskie fishing with Don Barnard. Nick Green of MUCC checks in. This week's Ask Avery question, talking about the legality of piebald and albino critters as a legal hunting target. And in our third hour, we're talking with Randy Booty about predator hunting, and we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. I have no idea what he's got for a recipe in store for us this week, but I can tell you it will be a good one. My name is Mike Avery. The show is Outdoor Magazine. Going to be here for the next 3 hours. Glad to have you along with us. All right, my friends. Good morning, Trek and Outdoors. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Kevin. No, the crowds don't gather for Pat like they do for Charlie. However, with Pat, what they do is they send him cards filled with money. That's how they show his appreciation. You can send Pat a card filled with money to Pat Johnston, care of WSGW on Tittabawassee in Saginaw. He will he will accept those. Noel Davina, there is a Wednesday Night Live tonight. All right, my friends, I got to go. Have a good day. Talk to you tonight. Another edition of Wednesday Night Live.